A documentary showing creates tension on High Point's campus. What happened and why? We spoke with students and staff to get all perspectives on this event.
Plus, freezing temperatures in North Carolina have caused long-term water damage all across HPU. We learned how this affected students and faculty and the plans to recover from it all.
And a new road detour appears to be a hard sell for HPU students. This comes as the university believes the move is important for the safety of campus.
I'm Alex Powell.
I'm Reese Harnett.
I'm Grant Hines.
I'm Riley Mannion.
I'm Mary Sosby.
And I'm Reese Allen. These stories and more on Q News. Thank you for joining us. Ahead of Black History Month, recent events on campus stir controversy between student organizations. Many wonder how the university can move forward while maintaining freedom of speech and also promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. On Sunday, January 22nd, the High Point University College Republicans Club posted a graphic on their Instagram for a movie night event, showing the film, quote, "The Greatest Lie Ever Sold, George Floyd and the Rise of BLM," end quote. This event was meant to take place the following night. However, this post sparked backlash and debate among students across the university.
The title was something that really stuck with me, like The Greatest Lie, and seeing BLM and George Floyd's name next to it really like hurt me personally, because I was like, that's something that is connected to my community. So immediately I went to my group chat and it was blown up from BCA members, and they basically were just saying like, what's the next step?
That's when BCA members and other student leaders decided to host a community meeting in conjunction with the University Multicultural Affairs Office.
During that meeting, I had said, well, BCA was planning to host a game night that same day. Why don't we scrap game night and turn it into a full-out meeting of all the students of color coming together to kind of update, debrief, and then talk about feelings, which was probably the most important thing to hear from the community, how something like this affects them. And then also have Dr. Fuller speak on what are appropriate next steps that we can take as a community here at High Point.
The meeting provided a space for students to vent and discuss potential solutions for how to have events like this on campus in a respectful way.
It was kind of just out of the blue, like why this movie, why the Black Lives Matter movement, and not any other corporation who uses their funds for other things other than their mission.
To hear more about the intention behind the HPU College Republicans event, I spoke with their vice president, Mary Sosby.
Provide a place for people in our organization to come and watch, and then from there be able to have a discussion about just everything going on in current events. This is a highly controversial documentary. We know that, and obviously anyone who even reads the title can understand that it is highly controversial. But as a political club, we felt that it was a great opportunity and chance for people to watch it and then have a place where we can have a discussion about the topics that are brought up in it.
HPU maintains it is committed to freedom of speech on campus. With more on this, Dr. Fuller explains the movie night's cancellation.
I don't believe in censorship. I believe in having, if you were going to have, because the question has, come up, if the students go through the right procedures, they will be able to have this event. The movie was canceled on a technicality with policy, but we still need to have these conversations because it's going to keep happening. We got to dig down into what the root of all this is. And that's what everybody has to be committed, from Roberts all the way across to, from students everywhere. It's going to take all of us.
High Point University is working toward diversity initiatives to ensure everyone feels welcome and included on campus, regardless of political belief, race, ethnicity, sexuality, religion, or other. Administration stresses there is always room for improvement, and they welcome any and all suggestions. While diversity efforts are being made across campus, others are dealing with water damage. Reese Harnett joins us with more on this story.
That's right, Reese. Winter break did not treat HPU well. After freezing temperatures hit North Carolina, the unforeseen consequences kept students out of their dorms and professors out of their offices. Moving water is not an uncommon thing to see on High Point's campus. However, the Nido-Arquebane School of Communication saw a little too much of it after 2 pipes burst during winter break. Now, 3 weeks into the semester, there are still fans outside of classrooms, and professors have been put into meeting rooms while their offices are under restoration. For journalism and media production students, the thousands of dollars in damage to the TV studio on the first floor has been the most impactful problem, as the loss of power for the entire lighting grid halted all class and student productions that usually use the space every day.
As a student, I mean, this is kind of where I do all my work. I'm a production major, I'm media production, so this is very much where I spend all my time. So having stuff break on me doesn't really help me at all. The only good side about all this breaking is that it means in my 2 years, I have a chance of maybe seeing new stuff.
While the cost to fix the studio would be over $100,000, Professor Joe Michaels thinks that the students won't be left out to dry.
So we're kind of in a situation where, with insurance and some budget money that we've already earmarked for new studio equipment, we may be able to juggle this and come out on top, actually, because of the flooding.
While it's unknown when these repairs will be made, it is fair to say that students have their fingers crossed for a confirmation sooner than later. For those of us who use this studio every day, this has been quite a difficult few weeks. Another tough situation for HPU students has been congested traffic and parking on campus. Alex, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Thanks, Reese. You're right. There are multiple ways the university could have addressed the issue, and they chose to close a second road on campus. I got the chance to talk with security and students to get their thoughts and reaction. High Point University has closed a street in the heart of campus beginning this spring. Extraordinary Way by the Slane Student Center will be closed this semester from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. High Point University Police Chief Deborah Duncan on the closure.
What we're trying to do is just keep everybody safe. We've got a lot of students that are walking, and then we've got cars on campus, and we have to be real careful because we're afraid that there's going to be some injuries and some accidents. So we're trying to make sure that we keep everybody safe.
Some students disagree with the decision to close the road, even though they do believe that safety is important. And those students believe that closing what they consider to be a critical road on campus will only make things more unsafe and dangerous.
I think it's making it worse, though, blocking the roads, because there's just more traffic, and then there's more people crossing the street. It's not even helping.
Some of the other roads on campus, I understand people's speed in those areas, specifically in the Greek Village and in the sense 1 and 2, and so it's difficult for me to understand particularly why they're shutting down one of the most trafficked roads in campus.
The only way to get around there being to go around Couch and things like that through that parking lot and just creating so much traffic over there, I think that's going to cause a bigger safety issue with people backing up and getting into spots and walking to and from their cars.
And while it is only closed for the spring right now, one student believes it is not a temporary solution.
And they've closed down 2 non-essential roads because you don't need them for anything, but they are quite convenient, especially Extraordinary Way. They're quite convenient to get around campus. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to go away at any point in this semester, and I anticipate it coming back in the fall.
What is known, though, is that the road will be closed for the foreseeable future. Students hope traffic will improve with the addition of the parking deck later this year behind the Cogden School of Health Sciences. Coming up next on Q News, Grant Hines will take a look at the impact of tragic events on the campus community. Plus, Riley Mannion showcases a local market that sells European food, and Mary Sosby goes in depth about an HPU team with high expectations. All of this when we come back on Q News.
The lines stitched into highways, the never-ending seams. On roads that are less traveled, dividing you and me. I wish I could unravel the fabric in between to bring you close to me. Honda, the power of...
High Point University is the premier life skills university, where student transformation is focused on personal initiative and extraordinary career outcomes. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
5 HPU students have died in just half a school year, a number many have never seen nor would expect. Many turn to HPU counseling services or the chapel for help during times of grief. But when the people who help students through times like these need help themselves, who do they turn to? I asked some of those counselors how they are getting through themselves.
And grace will lead me home.
5. That's the number of HPU students that have tragically died in just half a school year. A number Executive Director of Counseling at HPU, Amber Kelly, describes as this.
Have I ever seen something like this? I've been in this field for a long, long time. So I can't say that it's totally unfamiliar, but what I can say is extremely unusual.
During times of grief, students usually turn to counselors like Amber and others to help cope. But who and what do they turn to when they need help? I sat down with Preston Davis, minister to the university, to talk more about that. Obviously, death is a part of the job, helping people cope with death. Sure. But how do you cope with it yourself?
I think of love being the strongest force in the world, and God being akin to that. I got faith that there's more for us.
Who do you turn to, or what do you turn to
all those things
get you through times like these?
It's my marriage, incredible partner who understands the weight that someone holds. It's colleagues like Reverend Williamson, Gwen Noel, Amber Kelly, who by no means am I carrying all the weight here. I think people have if they have that conception or thought in their head, it's just not true.
For leaders like Davis and Kelly, leaning on each other seems to be the general consensus to best support each other.
Knowing each other fairly well, checking in with each other, how we're doing with our families too. It matters that we come to this, we're like a family during the day when we're here.
But the biggest thing that helps Reverend Davis help students cope is to spread love.
It helps me when I see that. If I hear things like, when I say at the vigil, like, if you can say with integrity to someone that you love and embrace that, then we're doing something right.
Kelly also says that her counselors take breaks after hard sessions, do yoga, eat snacks that she provides in the office, and even laugh together to cope with the weight of their jobs. Now we go to Riley Mannion, who got a taste of Europe, but just north in Greensboro. Tell us about it, Riley.
Thanks, Grant. Cultural markets are all over the Triad with different foods from many different cultures. I had the chance to stop by a family-owned European market and see why these traditional markets are so important to European customers.
The Euro Deli Mart in Greensboro, North Carolina is one of the few cultural markets in the Triad that source different traditional food from different cultures all across Europe. Owner Malgorzata Kobus has run this store for more than 12 years, providing Eastern Europeans a taste of what they are used to.
We have a lot of people who are from Europe, especially Eastern Europe, Ukrainian, Russian, Romanian. My customers are also from ex-Yugoslavia, and they miss, the basic products. I'm trying to have the basic for everybody.
Malgorzata sources all of her products directly from Europe to make sure she holds to her traditional value. Some things many customers can't get anywhere else besides her store.
Polish people, they're gonna go for sausage, kielbasa, pierogi, which are dumplings. Russian gonna go for buckwheat. They call that grichka, or not raffinated sunflower oil, which you cannot buy it anywhere else.
People come from all over the world to right here in the Triad in North Carolina, and it's not easy to find a taste of home. But here at the Euro Deli Market, things are a little bit different.
Well, this is part of my culture, so
I'm raised with this kind of food, so I have to have it. And what we have in this store, I cannot buy in Harris Teeter or anywhere else. The only option would be Charlotte or Raleigh. I'm a permanent customer of this store, and particularly the owner of it, Margaret, who provides excellent service, has a great variety of products.
Euro Deli Mart has served the Triad for quite some time, bringing traditional culture from all across Europe to right here on our dinner plates, with great prices and even better food.
Now let's head over to Mary Sosby to hear about where the Panthers stand as we approach the 2023 women's lacrosse season. Mary?
Thanks, Riley. It's that time of year when spring sports prepare for competition season, and I was able to take a closer look at how one team on campus is gearing up.
The High Point women's lacrosse team finished last season as regular season champions, but came up short in the Big South championship game after losing to Mercer. High Point is now ranked second according to Big South preseason polls that were just released. But preseason all-conference team goalkeeper Taylor Suplee said her team is not settling for less this season.
Yeah, it definitely hurts that we're ranked number 2 this year. We worked our butts off last season. We just came up like too short. So this year we've been running a lot more, lifting heavier weights, and overall just getting more physical on the field.
While the team's emphasis in preseason training has been on extra work with teammates, improving individually, and extra film sessions, Mina Loescher hopes her leadership on and off the field will bring her team back to the top.
As a captain, I'm honestly focusing a lot on what I can do for others. I learned surprisingly a lot in my CBL class about leadership, and I think that I'm really channeling that into the field. And I'm just trying to focus on what I can do for others and how I can help other people. I received the Big South preseason all-conference team and preseason offensive player of the year. As a fifth year, that means a lot to me. I mean, going into a season losing a lot of offensive threats, that's definitely something huge to me, and I'm really excited to play with the girls that are stepping up this year.
In the short time before their season, HPU's women's lacrosse team will be working with one common goal in mind, adding another trophy to the case.
The team will put their preparation to the test at their home opener next Saturday against Davidson. That's all for Q News. I'm Mary Sosby. More sports news is coming up next on Q Sports.